Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go to our next lab, add device to board the device, add wrap is on center, and we need one cables here to do it. I'm going to choose the short cable here, or it may be long, I don't know, just one of the cables. Once again, once you take the twisty off, put it in the back in the case so that you'll have it for later. This particular one you see is yellow, so I'm going to click it here, phone cable, and then I'm going to click I'm going to attach it to one of the blocks that has yellow on it. I'm going to do port 6 because my code is already set up for port 6. You can see when it's in there, this lights up showing that there's power, and I have my ultrasonic sensor here. Okay, and so we'll measure the distance of some things. So I'm going to sit that down, go over here to code, and you can see I've already loaded the code up here. The libraries are the Makeblock library, the Arduino library, soft serial library, and the wire. So make sure all those are in there. What you have to do is you have to set up, and these are built-in functions coming out of these libraries, the ME ultrasonic sensor, and then that's the name of my variable. Excuse me, no it isn't. That's the class of my variable. And then I say the variable name is ultrasensor, and then I set it to port 6. I do have something in my setup here, so I do the variable, do the includes, the variable definitions here, and then I come here and I do my setup. Over here in the gray, these are comments. The double forward slashes here indicate these are comments, so that you don't have to put those in there for the sketch to work. Those are for the human beings reading the code. But it does say here that the ultrasonic sensor only works off ports 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. And if you notice over here, those are the 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. It doesn't have 5 here, so this may be old code, but anything with a yellow block on it will work, I believe. So we go here to the void setup, or to the setup function, and we're going to initiate the serial communications. So that will allow us that once we start running our sketch, we're going to go over and click this magnifying glass, the serial monitor over here, and it's going to bring up a window that's going to show us our data. And so that's what the serial monitor. So this is how you start it. And then 9600 tells you the speed at which the data is communicating, the baud rate, and you can set that on the window. So it's set at 9600, and the baud rate on the window has to match that. So you come down here to the loop as before, and then we're going to do serial print. So this is what we're going to print to the serial monitor when we click it. And so this is what will show up, and this is how we're going to print the data that's coming off of our ultrasonic distance sensor. So I go serial.print, and inside the parentheses in quotes I'm going to write the word distance, a space, a colon, and a space. These semicolons here are necessary, again, the ones at the end. Then I'm going to do another serial print, and it's going to print on the same line. Until I do a print line, it's all going to print the same line. I'm going to take the ultrasensor, which I defined up here, and I'm going to run a method called distance cm, which is the distance in centimeters. This is case sensitive. And I put parentheses around that and enclose that in parentheses around what I'm going to print. And that will actually print the distance coming off the ultrasonic sensor in centimeters. And then to make it look pretty, I'm going to put a space, then a cm, then a space, then a slash, then another space. And so that's what's in here. Then I'm going to get the ultrasensor dot distance inches. So I'm going to get the distance in inches, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, and then close the last parenthesis, which corresponds to this one over here. And then I'm going to do a serial print space inch, in. So that's going to give me a good look there. And notice this is a print line, print ln, which means that's going to now take me, it's going to put a character return at the end of the line, and then start a new line with the next print. Then I'm going to wait 100 milliseconds, which is 1/10 of a second. And then I'm going to go back up to the top and start over and then take another reading. So this is going to take readings every 10th of a second, and it's going to display the distances out on the screen. So that's the deal. And then here I have a comment that says the minimum measure interval is 100 milliseconds. So it can't the ultrasonic sensor can't reread faster than 100 milliseconds. So you got to give it at least 100 milliseconds so that it can read the next distance. Okay, so with all that said, please stop the code, try it before you go on so that you can test it. I'm going to upload here, assuming that once again I've plugged in my board. I set it on the tools, and I set my board to Arduino Uno, and my serial port is the last one here. Mine is 84. Yours will probably be something different. So I'm assuming all that. You can see down here I'm compiling the sketch down here, and when it says uploading, we should see some action over here on the board. It takes a second sometimes. It's about a minute to compile. I'm going to have to find some music to play during the compiling. So now it's uploading, so you see the communication lights here going on, and now it's done uploading. And so now you don't see anything happening. If I put something in front of the sensor here, you don't see anything happening because we don't have a window open for our output. So if I go over here to the little magnifying glass, the serial monitor, I click that, it opens up a serial monitor. Now before we start looking at the data, check it out down here. We can click and change the baud rate, but this baud rate, which is 9600 here, has to match the baud rate that we set over here in our serial in our setup part when we did serial.begin. Okay, so let's look at the data over here. You can see numbers scrolling through, and so if we go here, let's put my hand up here so you can see. So that distance there, and I think the inches are off. When I've tried this, this doesn't look quite right. The inches and the centimeters aren't matching, so maybe some calibration needs to happen here. But you can see that as I move my hand further away or farther away, the distance values are increasing. So I think you can go up to 400 centimeters away. Okay, so I go back and forth, and you can get the different distance values. Now you can have the kids experiment, get a ruler out, and actually test to see the accuracy here. That would be something good to do. That's a quick way to get them introduced to this analog input device, the ultrasonic sensor. And so I'm going to end the video here, and then go on and talk about the next device.